How's it going, gang? It's Defined or Render here, and welcome back to another video on Fallout 76 camp building. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a concept I've wanted to do ever since I first stepped foot into Flatwoods, and that is using the camp system to make my own post-apocalypse swimming pool. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but all the swimming pools in Appalachia, they tend to be a bit nasty. They've got a few bits of grime, they've got a few dead bodies, stuff you don't normally want to see in your swimming pool. So how about we build our own swimming pool, kind of seaside resort looking area inside the camp system of Fallout 76. Remember to like and subscribe. I can't wait to see what you think of this video.
Nice. Never get sick of looking at that.
So for today's video of Fallout 76 camp building, we have come to the very west of Appalachia. We have found a little spot in the forest which is actually very popular for newer players. This is a spot right on the river which has a junk resource, and the junk resources are pretty much always going to be popular spots in Fallout 76, and we're going to build one here because we want as much water access as possible. And not only that, I wanted to have it in a place which is popular so players might actually discover this little camp area that we are building. So let's get started with our swimming pool build. So to go ahead and start off, we're going to put our junk resource extractor right there because, you know, we're going to be building for a while, so it would be nice to actually have some junk stored up while we are building, of course. And now, here comes the interesting thing. To build over water, you will need to put down a foundation on regular land like you normally do, but then you'll see you can't place down any more. But using the same logic as the stacking foundations glitch, you can place a fire pit right on the edge of the foundation, and then you can snap another foundation to the first one, which is still touching the ground, of course. And this means we're able to make a bridge all the way across the water. And these foundations are not actually touching the earth inside the water. They are literally floating right above the surface. So you can do this no matter how deep your water is. As long as you have got one foundation against the ground at the back, you should be able to make a cool bridge. And of course, you could also make a swimming pool. And here's the kind of rough design we are going to start with. We've got quite a long swimming pool here, and we've got plenty of space for people to swim around and have fun. And of course, we have our junk extractor. We literally can't build it any more forward because we are literally touching the edge of the map. So we actually can't go anymore for that reason, not just the camp limit, but the map limit. So we're stuck on 3 foundations length. And of course, you can actually place other things on the earth beneath the waves anyway, including some of these wind generators. I originally wanted to do this in the adhesive build. I wanted to build a water mill. But why didn't I just think, let's just try putting a wind generator in the water? But that actually worked straight away. I'm very impressed with that. And of course, we're going to put up lots of little fences around to stop people falling into the river. We want people to swim in the swimming pool, of course, which is going to be cleaned and maintained. But actually swimming in the river, not a good idea. You know, that's where you may get some mire lurks and other nasties swimming around. And then, of course, we're going to rig up the power to our junk extractor. And now that's ready to go. We'll hopefully get some resources to help us out throughout the build. And of course, it's a swimming pool. You don't want to have filthy earth at the bottom. We want to have a nice floor. So I'm going to use some of the mosaic flooring, which I believe was only in the Atomic Store for one day. I'm really happy I got this one because it looks brilliant for this build. Have a nice mosaic tiled floor at the bottom, so therefore it's less dirty. You know, you don't want to have lots of grime on your feet and stuff when swimming around. And now, of course, it's a swimming pool. What do all swimming pool needs beside ice cream and water, of course? We need a diving board. So we're going to make a little diving board here so you can go and dive headfirst into the water. It actually looks pretty good, actually. It adds some height to the structure. We also need some of these nice resort couches right here. I believe you can find them from the White Springs. And as we were building, people started to actually find the place and started to play in the water and use the diving board and stuff, complete strangers, which I thought was really cool. It kind of goes to show that if you put a little imagination into it, you actually can make something that looks like whatever it is you're actually trying to build. So now, of course, we needed some extra attractions. You can't just have the water, you know, that's a bit boring. How about we go and expand this place so we actually have a few more fun activities for people to do when they are here? And why not have a climbing wall? This is something which I discovered when I was in someone else's live stream, actually. I was helping a streamer called K-Power doing her Fallout Fridays live streams on Twitch, and we actually discovered that if you put clocks onto walls, you can actually jump onto those clocks. and you can essentially build a climbing wall. So that's what I'm going to do here. We're going to build a climbing wall which is fun for marsupials and humans alike. Although it took a very long time to actually build something that worked for both humans and marsupials. But it actually is possible to do, it's just very hard in places. Of course, we're going to have some other decorations on the climbing wall, such as some arrows pointing up to indicate that it's a climbing wall, along with some neon lights telling people to climb and to grab and stuff like that. And as I said, it is possible to do this. It's just very, very difficult in places. Honestly, I think it's actually harder if you have marsupial in this case, because you can design a climbing wall for normal humans in mind. But if you've got someone who can jump much higher, then they're constantly banging their head on the next step they need to jump onto, which makes it much harder. We're able to use the clocks to act as the main platforms, and also the wind chimes to act as kind of like a safety stopper so you don't overshoot your jump, make it a little bit easier. And then once you make it over top, of course, you can take a fantastic look at the swimming pool from our special prize area, where we will have a safe, some special seating and some decorations to say well done for completing the climbing challenge. I think it's really good anyway. We're even going to top it off with a Mothman statue right at the top. And overall, I think the idea of building a fun climbing wall actually works really well. It definitely gives something fun that people can do other than just jumping in the water. And here we can have a better look at the place right here. It looks really, really good in the morning sunrise, actually. You can see it is possible for 2 people to be on there at once. You might be able to get 3, but then again, if you have 3 people, they might start to jump into each other a little bit. But it's great fun, and I absolutely adore the idea. It actually looks good as well, which is something I was pretty surprised by. The amount of colours we've got and the amount of height we've got, along with the decorations on the top, looks really, really good also. And of course, the diving board works well, although if you have marsupial, it is very easy to overshoot the jump, so don't necessarily jump if you have marsupial. But of course, people, here we had a problem. The actual camp actually glitched out and we couldn't do it again, so we actually had to rebuild it from scratch. Unfortunately, when you do glitches with water, there is a chance your camp will not come back, so take that with a grain of salt. But we actually made the swim pool shorter so we can have fencing all the way around it, and we also improved the climbing wall a little bit by adding some extra support to it. Overall, I think this second version of it does look much, much nicer. I think it looks neater and looks tidier, and I think it's a better version. So, actually, the camp glitching out actually turned out well. Well, I say the camp glitching out. We were building with glitches, so unfortunately we lost the last build. You know how it is. But of course now, I wanted some electricity into this place, and you know the final render by this stage. The final render does not like wires in his camp. He hates them. He thinks they look stupid. So we're going to build conduits going from the climbing wall all the way around the swimming pool. And since we have a defensive wall on the edge, it means you can't actually see these when you're kind of at foot level. You can only see them when you go higher up. And this means we have power access anywhere around the swimming pool. So if we need to put power anywhere, we can just quickly change one of the conduits to be a wired conduit or a radial conduit, of course, and we can power things anywhere we need power, such as this Mothman sign. We're essentially making like a little Mothman themed theme park in a way, which I actually think is pretty good because this ultimately is very near the area where you can find the Mothman Museum. And of course, it's a swim pool. We need places to sell food like ice cream and sweets and all those other things that you need for when you come here for a day out. You're going to spend a bit of time here after all. So we're going to have a little canopy with some of the special lights which actually flicker. Looks really nice, that does. And we're going to build a little food area with all of our crafting stuff. We're essentially disguising our food court as our workshop. We're going to have all the things in there to make it possible to actually use this place as a camp, such as the chemistry station, the tinkerer's workbench, the cooking stove, all that kind of stuff. Because whilst it's true, I do build these builds primarily for the fun of decorating and for the fun of creation. There is ultimately a fun in creation after all, but I would still like to have a little bit of practicality in there in case other players actually turn up. Because every time you see another player camp, it's often a good idea to go and scrap your junk and stuff like that. So it would be selfish of me to not include those in the build as well. We're also going to have some nice picnic tables in there, along with some other things like vending machines which act like stash boxes, and also some jukeboxes to play some tunes, so people can come here and actually have fun in a group as well. They can actually have fun and talk to each other. We also had a nice fun menu system right here, which we were really struggling with because we are at camp budget right now, but I was able to put up a small menu. I believe in the end we had ice cream, beer, and dog food for sale in this place. And as you know, dog food actually is the most popular food in Fallout 76. Like Bethesda actually published the most eaten food in Fallout 76 is canned dog food. I presume it's because it doesn't go off and there's a perk to improve it. And here we go, we can kind of get like a nice wide shot of the place done with a little locker room and a decon arch. Looks pretty sweet. But then, as I said, people, we were using lots of glitches in this build, and unfortunately, we were not able to recover the build for some final finished shots. As you guys know, I like to include final shots of the place done, but as you can see, even though it blueprinted everything, because we used so many glitches to make our swimming pool, we were not able to replace it again, and I wasn't going to rebuild it for a third time. But I think you guys can totally understand that. We still built it, we still showed it, we still had a lot of fun. So it just goes without saying, people, if you're using glitches in your build, be careful. You know, don't do anything that isn't completely recoverable, because we weren't able to get the final shots. But I still think we made an amazing swimming pool after all. I think we did a really good job. It functions as a swimming pool, other players turned up and recognized it as such, and we had a lot of fun. So thank you very much for watching this video, people. This has been a really good one. Also, thank you very much to all the Patreon people who you can see in the description of this video and scroll on the bottom of the video. Thank you very much to those guys that help keep the channel going with their financial donations. You, of course, can also do the same. And also, guys, thank you very much for 57,000 subscribers. That's very, very kind of you. And I can't wait to see you in the next build when hopefully we'll have some new DLC content. Isn't that exciting, kids? Bye-bye for now.